Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2 coming to you with another Garage Gun Talk. Tonight I just want to talk about some guns and some sad news about Glock. But let's talk about some guns today. Here on the workbench, I got a couple guns I've been working on for range reports. Today I took to the range. Well, I took to the range 3 guns, but I was only able to film 2, and I'll explain why. I took my personal HK USP 357 SIG to the range because that's part of my series on the guns of my carry rotation. And that was actually the first time I'd ever shot that barrel and slide on that gun, because originally I had bought it as a 40 caliber, but I had built a 357 SIG slide for it. So that was interesting. Shot pretty well, a little bit to the left, but I think that's because when I installed the sights, I didn't get them on there perfectly centered, so I might have to adjust that. But overall, shot well. Then I shot the CMMG Resolute. Now this is the modern, or I guess the latest generation of the CMMG Mutant, or the Mark 47, which I guess is the technical name of it. And then the different variations of it have different names. And so chambered in 7.62 by 39. Really interesting. I had some issues with it, and that's actually one of the issues right there. Is this mag well seems to be really tight with these P mags. I think this gun needs a side charger or a bolt hold open, which it doesn't have. And this stock is brutal. This stock, which CMMG calls the rip stock because you can rip it out. It is the most uncomfortable stock I have ever shot. It has this metal plate at the back. There's no rubber to it, and it's like checkered, and it's thin and narrow, and it like digs into your shoulder. And after a while, I shot this thing for about 30 minutes. I mean, ouch. But the gun performed great. It has an amazing trigger in it, and I just filmed the range report and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I have the camera set up because I just did the looking at the trigger and the pull weight of it and all that. So I do that right here, and I take all these mats out of the way, but I had the camera all set up for that. But that's all finished and uploading right now. So my Patreon should see that in a couple days, then you guys will see it in a couple weeks if you're not a Patreon. So I took that. The other gun I took to the range but was not able to get to is the Diamondback DB15. Now this is on loan to the channel from Colin. And I also spent some time this morning putting it back in its, what I think is its stock configuration. And Colin said I could do that because he had changed the trigger out. I want to say he put a LaRue Tactical trigger in it. So I put back in the original one, and I put back on the stock that came with it. And I took off the light and I think it had an angled foregrip as well. I put everything, I took a picture of it so I could put everything back before I give it to him, back in the way he had set it up. But I wanted to review this gun as it comes stock. But I did not get to shoot this gun. I'm going to go tomorrow, though, to film that for 2 reasons. Number one, this CMMG Resolute just kind of, oh man, it just tore into my shoulder with that stock at the back. But also, I got to shoot some machine guns. I got to shoot a Steyr AUG and a FN P90. And I have kind of made friends with a guy. His name is Jack. No, it's not the other Jack that lends guns to the channel. So I guess I'm going to have a Jack 1 and a Jack 2. And I guess my friend Jack 2 now, he's an SOT. And so he has all these cool guns that he wants me to review. And he's followed my channel now. And really cool. But he's always there testing stuff for his SOT. And I got to shoot some machine guns. I never shot a Steyr AUG before. So I got to shoot in full auto, and it has a really weird trigger where if you pull it back kind of halfway, it's semi-auto, and you pull it back the full way, it's full auto. So there's no like selector switch to it. The Steyr AUG is a gun that I was always fascinated by. I always thought it looked so cool. I've never really been much into bullpups, but it's the one bullpup I was interested in. And when I was able to dry fire one of the semi-auto versions, I hated it. I mean, I hated it. And bullpups do not interest me now. But shooting this thing full auto was not as fun as I thought it would be. I mean, it was fine, but just the way the gas system works and the fact you have the ejection port right here by your face. When you're shooting, man, you get the gas, and it's loud, and I could see where if you're a troop in the field and you use that without hearing protection, you're going to go deaf. I mean, that thing was loud. Uh, it rose a little bit. Definitely controllable. Interesting. I had never shot a bullpup full auto. And the other one was the FN P90. And that was a lot of fun. And 50 round magazines, a 5.7. Oh my gosh, that thing's amazing. Absolutely no muzzle rise on that thing at all. I think I am going to make some little shorts. I was going to add them to this video, but I think what I'm going to do is on the main channel, I'm going to add them as Texas Gun Vault shorts, but not really shorts, because when you make a short on YouTube, it forces you to change the perspective. Like right now, it's this perspective. I'm looking at the camera right here. But when you make a YouTube short, it makes it like this. I guess portrait versus landscape. And so when I do that, it cuts out so much of the video. And I don't like that. So I'll just make a short video that's not an official YouTube short and kind of post those of both those machine guns I was able to shoot today, which were a lot of fun. The other machine gun, which I shot recently, was the B&T APC-9 SD. And I talked in a recent video, I said, that thing's amazing, and it's a MP5 killer. And I was even talking to Jack2 today about how it's an MP5 killer. And guess what? I don't know why we're on the same wavelength. This has happened so many times. When it comes to a gun that I review, and it can be a gun that's been out for a while or whatever, I'll make a video on it or I'll talk about it, and literally another big gun YouTuber will make a video on that gun. It's crazy. I'm not saying they're copying, because they're not copying. There's no way that was happening. Just like we're all on the same wavelength. It's like there's this, I don't know, collective consciousness. And, but anyway, I said it was an MP5 killer. It was amazing. And then Colion Noir literally today released a video on a full auto APC-9 SD, and it's called the MP5 killer. Oh, pretty cool. But hopefully one day I'll get to do my own review on those machine guns, because Jack2 says that he has no problem just bringing them to the range. I could, review them there, and then I can go over to his house, because, he's an SOT, so he has to remain in possession of them, and be able to film the garage portion, or what I talk about, aspects of it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So who knows, maybe I'll get around to doing some machine gun reviews. That'd be a lot of fun. What else did I want to talk about tonight? Oh yeah, the sad passing of Gaston Glock. I've heard people pronounce his name Gaston, or I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm probably going to do the Americanized version, Gaston Glock, the founder of Glock. And for me, he's always been kind of an enigma, because in many ways, I kind of put him on the same pedestal as John Browning and Eugene Stoner, people that revolutionized the firearms industry. But the thing that he's so enigmatic about is that he was such a recluse. Other guys really like to be in the spotlight. You have like a Kevin Brittingham, founder of AAC and now Q, and he likes to be in the spotlight. These guys are almost like celebrities. And here you have Gaston Glock, who became a billionaire off of his invention. You really didn't hear much about him. You didn't really see many interviews with him. You guys know I know Carl Brugger of B&T. He'll occasionally do interviews. I watch other YouTube channels. He'll talk. He doesn't like to be on camera, but he'll kind of do stuff like that. But I can't find a lot of stuff when it comes to Gaston Glock. He's always been very enigmatic, kind of like behind the scenes, very introverted. And so I can appreciate that, But here you have somebody that was so prolific and really changed the firearms industry, whether or not you like Glock or don't like Glock. You have to admit that his impact and influence on the firearms world is far-reaching, that there was not really a lot out there on him. He was very reclusive for some reason. But he made it to the age of 94 years old. 94. It's a good run. Really good run. My grandmother passed away when she was 94, for some reason, I mean, I don't know if you believe in God or don't believe in God or whatever it is you believe. There's a reason for everything in the world. I believe that there is fate. There is fate. Fate or destiny. I don't know which one it is. I kind of feel like my philosophy on life, based off of my own experiences, is that there are milestones and big things in your life that you are meant to do. And regardless of the little decisions you make, you're going to end up doing these things one way or another. You're going to be at a certain place at a certain point in time, or you're going to do something that, is important to other people. You have a fate. I don't believe that everything in your life is set in stone. Whether or not, for example, I choose to pick up this rifle versus this rifle right now in that order. Like, that is not part of the grand plan of the universe. But I do believe that you're here to do certain things, and you have a destiny and you have a fate. And even if you feel like your destiny and fate and the things that you've done in your life is not important, you don't know the bigger impact, like the butterfly effect. Like you might have done something to somebody that you don't even know that positively changed their life in an amazing way. And that was your point in existence. And you made a profound impact. And sometimes we don't know what those moments are and those things are. But I believe everybody has them, and we're all here for a purpose. And 94, as I said, is a good run, but I am 43, and I've been going through like this great existential crisis. I guess some people call it the midlife crisis. You start asking yourself, has your life been worth it? Have you done the things that you wanted to do? Are there fewer days ahead than there are behind? You start to contemplate your own mortality. That kind of thing. All of the heavy stuff, And I try to remind myself of something that I think is very, very profound. And I know I'm going to sound really geeky here talking about Lord of the Rings and J.R.R. Tolkien. But one of the messages in that story, which is kind of an allegory of Christianity, not necessarily, it's not as much of an allegory as like the Chronicles of Narnia, the C.S. Lewis stuff, but it has elements of J.R.R. Tolkien's faith in it. And there's elements that sometimes you have to pull out that aren't obvious. And one of the things that I've heard many literary scholars talk about is the gift of mortality. In that story, there are two species that were created by the god of that universe, Eru Iluvatar. And that was the elves and the humans. And he chose to give elves immortality and men mortality. And humans, men, by men I mean mankind, If you're a lady, you know what I'm talking about. He chose to give mankind the gift of mortality. And you think to yourself, why is that a gift? But it's because of mortality. Our time here is finite, which means that we have to get stuff done. It's a gift. Because if you have immortality on this plane of existence, you can languish, you can become, I don't want to say worthless, unproductive. You have nothing to live for. You have nothing with purpose, because it doesn't matter if you get it done today or tomorrow or 5 years or 1,000 years from now. Time becomes irrelevant and things lose their purpose. But because we're here for a finite amount of time, we get stuff done. We're the get stuff done species of Middle Earth. And that was the great gift to us. And sometimes I think that in a way, whether you believe in God or not, or just the universe, which doesn't make any sense to me because, anyway, I could go into a big theological debate, but it's a gift that we get sad about it because we realize our time is finite, our time is numbered, but it means that we have to make the most of every day, And if you get to make it to 94 like Gaston Glock, well, good. Or like my grandmother, because not many people do. So anyway, just hearing of his passing was kind of an interesting story. I'm not too sad about it because, as I said, it's like his age. It's like the passing of Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain. Do you know what her cause of death was according to the death certificate? Old age. Yeah, she just died. Yeah, it wasn't like she had a heart attack or an aneurysm or slip and fell or any of that. It was just old age. She just went to sleep and died. There was like nothing wrong with her. It was just time. And we all have to face that one day. But we can be sad about it, but we can also accept it as a gift and realize it's the way things are supposed to be. I also heard an interesting quote too from Mark Twain, or Samuel Clemens, as some of you guys may know. He said that he didn't fear death because he had been dead for billions of years before he existed, and it didn't seem to inconvenience him in any way. So, I don't know. I don't know what that says about his personal beliefs, but I can see it from that perspective too, from an intellectual, scientific perspective. But theologically, I don't understand how a universe can come into existence and create a self-replicating molecule that creates consciousness that can look upon itself. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like to not have any type of grand plan or something controlling it from above. But that's just me. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good night. I shot some really cool guns, and I hope that you guys have purpose in your life, because I feel like I have purpose in my life. And sometimes the purpose in my life is not what I planned it out to be. I thought I was going to be a college professor and do that when I was younger. It's why I got my doctorate degree. And I don't do that. It was not my fate. It wasn't my destiny. But the things that I do now, I think, are worth way more. My family, my kids, being here doing this, and still being a music teacher. It's just, I feel like I'm meant to do this, and I feel very blessed. And Gaston Glock was meant to revolutionize the firearms world. So that was it. So as I said, I'm not sad because he lived a good life, long life, and I hope that all of you get to live as long. Hope I get to live that long. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about tonight. Little sad news, little cool news, and what I discovered about these guns. So anyway, hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Thank you again for joining me here in the garage. So what's the word of the day? Well, in honor of Gaston, let's use the word Glock. If you made it to the end of this video, use the word Glock. In honor of him, and another legend of the firearms world has passed. That's the way things are supposed to be. There's a time to be born and a time to die. And we all got to face that at some point. So I'm not trying to be sad and dreary. I guess I'm just trying to be realistic. So make every day worth it. Make every day count. Don't fret about the little stuff. So, as always, thanks for watching.